Hello and welcome to another video here, and today we are going to be doing a training video which is going to help you with your loose lead walking or just your lead walking. So if you have a dog that is pulling on the lead quite a lot and you're looking to teach them how to walk nicely on the lead next to your side without pulling, then this is the video for you. So hi, my name is Shona. I am a pet dog trainer and I help pet parents just like you with the recall problems, the lead walking problems, the household manners and everything in between that stuff. So as you can tell by the title and what I'm already guessing is you are struggling with your lead walking. Maybe your dog is really pully on the lead, or they just won't listen to you when you take them out on a walk, and no matter what you try you just can't get them to walk nicely on the lead with you. Instead they just want to be pulling and going forward and going ahead of everybody else. Video we are going to be tackling that, and what we are going to be doing is working on an exercise what I like to call keep up, and we are going to be teaching our dogs to walk nicely with us by our side so that you can put that on cue and you can use that when you're out walking with them, rather than trying and probably failing to get them to stop pulling. We're going to teach them how to walk nicely on the lead so that they know already what they need to be doing. So keep up is an exercise that I like to do with people who are struggling with their dogs walking on a lead, because it teaches their dog to automatically start zoning into where they are, and almost like a magnet they are attracted to wherever their owner is at that time, so they just keep coming up to them and coming up to them and coming up to them. So even if I walk off that way, my dog Leica, who's just mooching around down here, will automatically be drawn to where I am. So if I start walking away, she wants to come with me and be drawn to where I am. So that is what keep up is all about. It's teaching your dog that they need to be drawn to you and be almost as close as possible to you. Because we are teaching our dogs to come in close to us, we also get a nice moment where our dogs can walk closely with us to heel, and that is our magic moment. We are going to be capturing that moment, and that is a little dog train term that we use, which means that the dog is already doing the behaviour that we want them to do, and we are just almost taking a screenshot of it and being like, yes, that is what we want. So I'm going to break up keep up into 3 stages for you, and I'm going to show you it with Leica, that you can see how we progress on to getting into some nice lead walking from this activity. So I'm going to grab Leica. I've already grabbed my treats for her, and we are going to start training. Okay, so before we start, I'm going to say that for Leica I'm going to be using food because she likes to do training for food. Some of your dogs might not be food motivated, so you might need to adapt the training that is going to work for them. So whether that's going to be using a toy, using a ball, adding in an aspect of chase or tug, whatever it is for your dog. So we're going to start training now, and the first stage of keep up is to get our dog to keep up with us. Right now we are currently in a dog park, and Leica has all this room that she can run around in. Now Leica is very comfortable with doing training here, but Leica is very comfortable doing training here, but you might want to start this off at your own home, in your living room or in your garden where your dog is comfortable doing it. They might not be ready to do it in such a big open space, so pick somewhere that is going to be suitable for your dog, where they are able to concentrate and not get too distracted. So the first stage is we're going to place a piece of food on the floor, and we're going to show our dogs where that piece of food is. As they're sniffing and trying to get that piece of food, we are going to start walking just a couple of steps away. So that might just be 2 steps away, 3 steps away. Leica, she could probably do about five steps away, and we're going to wait for our dog. Once they've eaten that piece of food that we put on the floor, we're going to start calling them over to us and making a bit of a racket, almost making a bit of a party, making ourselves really interesting. For some of you, that might be that you have to maybe run around, some of you might have to crouch down and coax your dog over, some of you might just have to call your dog's name. But what we want is them to come over to us. Now, if you are struggling with this first stage, go back to really, really simple and make it really, really small. So if you do struggle with this first stage, you might want to place a treat on the floor, take one step away, wait for your dog to eat the piece of food off of the floor. Yes, good girl. And then she gets another one just for turning and looking at me. She didn't have to do anything, she just turns and looks. So I'm going to wait for her to eat that piece off the floor. She's eaten that one. Yes, good girl. She looks up and then she gets another piece on the floor. Now she's going to take a while to find that, so I'll explain the rest of the steps to you. So we're going to place one piece of food on the floor. We're going to take a couple of steps away. If that's just one step away, that is perfectly fine. Or take several steps away. Call your dog over to you and then place another piece of food on the floor. And then I want you to repeat the process. So you become in this habit of treat on the floor, walk away, wait for your dog to come to you, another treat on the floor, let them get it, walk away, wait for them to come up to you, place a treat on the floor. And what you'll find is that your dog is rushing around to you as you do that. So they're quickly grabbing the piece of food on the floor and then they're rushing to you again. So I will demonstrate with Leica now what that realistically looks like. Right, so treat on the floor. I'm going to show her where it is. I'm going to take a couple of steps away. Like, yes, good girl. And then she gets one on the floor there. I take a couple of steps away. Yes, good girl. She gets a treat on the floor there. I take a couple of steps away. Like. Yes, good girl. That's what I want. I want her rushing over to me. Like. Good girl. Yes. And we keep this pattern. Yes, good girl. Going. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Now, as you can see, I'm able to go quite far with Leica, but for some of you that might just look like a couple of steps, just a few steps, 3 or 4 steps, but what we want is exactly what Leica was doing there. She was turning around as soon as she'd got that treat off the floor and rushing over to where I was. So that is what we want our dogs to be getting at before we go to stage 2. Now, if your dog is struggling slightly with that stage, then it just means that you need a little bit more time to get used to it. If you try to change up your treats, that can help if you are using treats, so maybe using something like cheese or chicken, or it might be that your dog prefers using a different force of reinforcement, so instead of treats they would prefer to play some tug with you, or they would like to play or they would prefer to play with a ball or have a bit of a wrestling match with you. Or they want a little bit more of a chase element into their training. Or it could be that they are too distracted by the environment and they need somewhere that is a lot quieter. So you might have to play around with some things and make the setup as best for your individual dog as possible. But if your dog is doing really well with that stage, then we can move on to stage 2. Now that is the stage where we're going to start adding in our walking nicely with us element. So as we were doing there, that was all off lead, and we're going to continue being off lead again, and then we're going to introduce a lead in step 3. But for step 2, we want our dog walking with us as close as possible to us for a couple of steps. Now to begin with, that might just be one step that they do, and that is perfectly fine. We can always build off of one step. So it could be for 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, and then we slowly build it up and up and up and up until we're able to do quite a distance with our dogs walking nicely. So we are going to start off with the same steps as stage 1. So we're going to place a treat on the floor. We're going to walk away. We're going to wait for our dog to come up to us. We're going to place another treat on the floor. We're going to do that for about 5 or 6 times. On that 6th time, what I want you to do is, as your dog starts to come towards you again, I want you to start walking in the direction they're coming. And I'll try stay frame. So I want you to start walking in the way that they're coming. So say my dog Leica is over here. She's coming towards me this way. I'm going to start walking this way. There is going to be a moment where she catches up to me and she walks nicely with me. That is the moment I want to capture. I'm going to say, yes, good girl, nice walking, and then I'm going to give her a treat. And then we're going to start again with, we'll walk away, wait for her to eat her treat, come find me, and then we're going to walk a little bit in that direction. So like I said, it can start off with just 1 or 2 steps, and then we can build this up and up. So I will show you what that means. So treat on the floor. Take a couple of steps away. Wait for her. She comes. She gets another one. I'm only going to do this 3 times. I take a couple of steps away from her. She comes. She gets a treat. Bring it. I wait for her. She comes over to me. She gets a treat on the floor. And we're ready. We're going to do it on this next repetition. So, good girl for coming with me. She gets a treat there. I'm going to start walking this way. I'm going to wait for her. As she comes with me, I'm going to walk. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. And then she gets a treat. Did you see the 2 seconds, the 2 steps that we did where she was walking next to me? That is what I want to capture. So she got a lot of, yes, good girl, well done, good walking. And then she gets a treat. And then we're going to keep doing that until we can get several steps in a row with her. So I'll show you again. So she gets a treat on the floor. She's finding it. I'm setting off in this direction. I wait for her. She comes up. Yes, good girl. Yes, good walk. Yes. And then she gets a treat. And then I'm going to go this direction. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Good girl. And then she gets a treat. Go this direction. Yes, good girl. Good heel. Good heel. Good girl. Good heel. And then she gets a treat. Now, hopefully you could see there that we went from going from 1 to 2 steps to quite a few steps quite quickly. Leica is used to this one, but for your dog it might be that they can only do for your dog it might be that they can only do 2 steps for quite a while before you're able to progress it on. So take it slow with your dog. You don't have to rush them so they're walking the meters and meters and meters with you nicely. As you are starting to get those nice moments of your dog walking next to you that you're going to capture, then I want you to start adding in your cue word at the same time. So for me and Leica, it's yes, good girl, heel. Heel is the word that we want. So as she's walking nicely, good heel, yes, good girl, heel. That's nice heel. So we have when you are able to do quite a few steps with your dog like that, so you're able to maybe do 3 to 4 to 5 meters of walking with your dog close by you and keeping up with you, that's when I would start to introduce the lead into the picture. Now, this is stage 3, and once we introduce the lead into the picture, we are still going to do pretty much all the same steps. We're not going to do any tugging, pulling, yanking on the lead to encourage our dogs. The whole process, as you've seen with me and Leica, is there has been very little of persuading her, jumping up and down, getting her to be interested in me. Okay. It has been a lot off of her own free will, just for the enjoyment of the activity. So that is what we still want on the lead. So you don't need to pull or yank your dog, just wait for them to do it. And that is exactly why we teach this thing off lead first, then we teach it on lead, because she already knows how to do it. Your dog is the same. Once they already know how to do it off lead, it's so much easier for them to do it on the lead. So I'm going to grab Leica's lead, and we're going to show you the stage 3, which is introducing the lead and getting all the same stuff with the lead on. So I have got Leica's training lead now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip it onto her, and I am going to basically start at the beginning of stage 2, which is putting a treat on the floor. I'm going to take a few steps away from her, as long as the lead will take me, and then I'm going to wait for her. As soon as she's eaten that first treat, turns up and looks for me and starts coming towards me, we're going to start walking off in the direction that she was coming towards me. We're going to have those few moments of her walking nicely to heel with me. I'm going to verbally reward her and praise her, and also use our cue, which is heel. So I'll be going like a heel, yes, good girl, heel. We're going to walk several paces, and then she's going to get another treat on the floor so we can practice it all over again. So, where is she? There she is. I'm going to clip her up so she is clipped on. I'm going to come down here to make sure I've got a shot. Now she already knows that she's getting treats, and she already knows that she needs to be hanging around where I am. So, going to put a treat on the floor, go to the end of the lead, no pulling, no tugging, wait for her, walking, good heel, and then she gets a treat. Come to the end of the lead, no tugging, no pulling. Good girl, walking, heel, yes, good girl. As you can see, I am turning in to Leica. Good. So I'm waiting, looking at her, and as we go this way, I'm going to turn. I'm going to. Good. For some of you, that might be easy to do. For some of you, it might be easy just to set off going this way. Good. Good heel. Good heel. And she gets me back. All done now. All done. Good girl. Now, as you can see, just at the end there, I was able to start adding some turns with Leica. So we started off in one direction, and then we could turn and go in a different direction. These are all things that you want to start adding in once your dog is really comfortable with just walking pretty much in a straight line with you for a couple of paces. Once you start adding in some turns and some different directions, that makes it more interesting for your dog, so you'll find that they'll do even better with the lead walking, because they're always thinking, where are you going, where are you going, are you going to give me the treat yet, are you going to... Now this exercise is something that, like you can see today, we have done within about an hour's session, or it might be something that you need to build up over a week or two. So maybe doing stage 1 for a couple of days, and then stage 2 for a couple of days, and then stage 3 for a couple of days, and then taking it out onto your walk somewhere quiet. With a lot of training, it's best to start off really easy, simple, and get a lot of practice in that before you then take it to somewhere where it's a bit more harder for your dog to do it. Once your dog already knows how to walk nicely on the lead, it's going to make it so much easier for you to stop them from pulling on the lead. Keep Up is one activity that you can use to help teach your dog to walk nicely on the lead so you can stop the lead pulling. There are plenty of other activities that you can use to teach your dog how to walk nicely on lead, and I will have multiple on my channel for you to look through if this activity isn't the best one for your dog. But it's now really cold outside and I want to go home and get warm, so I'm going to finish this video here, and I hope that you do practice this. Let me know if you have any questions about this activity in the comments below, and I hope you and your dog have lots of fun training and working on this exercise. I hope to see you in the next video. Happy training.